Another song similar to the past song, similar to Sing for the Moment, is a song that he released in 2014 called Guts Over Fear, which is just, it was like a single, but I really liked it. And it's him like reflecting on his past, and it's too late to start over. This is the only thing I know. Similar, him talking about how he had to become mean to survive in the circus. So I won't read the whole thing, but yeah. It breaks my heart to look at all the pain that I've caused, but what am I going to do when the rage is gone and the lights go out in that trailer park? He's continually referring back to his trailer park youth, even though, of course, now he has a lot of songs about fame, which I didn't include, about how he still goes to Walmart in the grocery aisle, and he's a song called, referencing that he has an elevator in his house, even though he still lives in Detroit. So, he said, why do I keep referring back to my past and drawing from that well? Always going back to those formative experiences that he had growing up with an absent father and an extremely abusive, mentally ill mother, and then surrounded by violence and economic insecurity and all of that. But he does. I don't know how to rap unless I harness rage, but I don't want to harness rage anymore. Good song, kind of a slow song, and then he has other. This is another song I like called "Beautiful Pain," which is sampling Sia, and Sia got into trouble, or people were mad at her for collaborating with him, and she said, I was under the impression that he was doing performance art and that he's not actually homophobic. So, further, other people who have my point of view. And this one has a lot of inferno and fire imagery, and it's like a really nice, beautiful, inspirational kind of rap song, and it's about standing in the flames and like rebuilding your life after horrible things, standing in an inferno and chant, I'm standing in the flames, but it's a beautiful kind of pain, setting fire to yesterday, trying to find the light. Whether thunderstorms, tornadoes, tying back to the cyclones that Taylor's been mentioning, or, these are parallels. I don't think she's directly referencing Eminem, although she did. She has performed Lose Yourself. So I don't know. But I think more I'm just drawing parallels between their poetry. You weathered it and poked its eye out with the thorn bush that you used to smell the roses. So it's all about like looking at your past with different perspectives, and like watching the walls melt in your prison cell, but you've extinguished this living hell, and like getting beyond extreme trauma and setting it on fire. Just a nice song about that. This is one of my other favorite songs called Legacy, where he talks about how he used, much like Hamilton, he wrote his way out of his life. Called Legacy, and it sort of goes chronologically. It starts off with him being a kid and being bullied in school. It's one of my favorite lines. And being introverted and being interested in writing and comics and alternate personas. I'm in the corner quiet, trying not to be noticed because I'm crying and sobbing. I had a bad day school, so I ain't talking. Some cocksucker shoved me into a fucking locker because he said that I eyeballed him. And, I just like the consonants of that. And since I'm from Boston, that's like a word that I'm very inured to, that is completely separated from its, sort of homophobic context. So that's something that, it's interesting talking about semiotics and talking about like what gives words their meaning, and what does it mean to like reappropriate words, and are they forever tied back to their oppressiveness, It's really like, how did we go from like a bag of sticks, this literal meaning, etymology of the word, to a homophobic slur, to sort of the watering down of that word to sort of mean just, asshole, but also it being linked back to that, to being reappropriated by the community that it's supposed to be about. I'm just fascinated by language. And I think that there's a lot of layers of nuance, and there's a lot of layers of thinking about how we use language deliberately, and what our responsibility is if we do even do performance art satirically. Like, what is the line of that? Very interested in that as a person. Anyway, and it's about his head. Each verse talks about, I used to regret that I was different, like my brain was differently wired and neurodivergent. Why am I obsessed with drawing parallels? Why am I obsessed with words? Why am I introverted and non-athletic and imaginative? Why is music such an escape for me? There's batteries in my Walkman, nothing's the matter with me. But I think a light bulb just lit up in my conscience. What about the rhymes I've been jotting? They're kind of giving me confidence. Instead of trying to escape through my comics, why not I just bless a little something like Onyx, a rapper, to put me in the mood to want to fight and write songs that say what I want to say, that a kid just said that I eyeballed him, grabbed hold of my eyeballs, and like, that's right, fight's on, bitch. Who would have knew from the moment I turned the mic on that I could be iconic in my conquest? So, harnessing that, his confidence in writing to take on these bullies and be aggressive and assertive with them, even if it's in a slightly homophobic context. But, standing up for himself and asserting himself rather than sobbing and just completely dissociating from reality. And it's really a shame that we, this is a whole other rant, but very a bell hooks rant about toxic masculinity and how that cuts men off from their senses of self, and they're forced to enact extreme toxic masculinity to survive, and that leaves them like a hollow shell of themselves. Separate rant, but I think it's very well depicted in the song. And then this is the inverse, where he's reflecting back from now being a famous rapper. He says, this is what I would say to my past bullies now. I used to be the type of kid that would always think the sky is falling. Now I think that the fact that I'm differently wired is awesome. Because if I wasn't, I wouldn't be able to work words like this and connect lines like crosswords and use my anyways words as strength to draw from and get inspired off them. Because all my life I was told and taught that I am not shit by you whack fucking giant whack. Oh, I can't talk anymore. By you whack fucking giant sacks of lying dog shit. Now you shut up, bitch. I am talking. Thought I was full of horseshit, and now you fucking worship the ground that I'm walking. Me against the world, so what? I'm Brian Dawkins versus the whole 0-16 Lions offense. So bring on the Giants, Falcons, and Miami Dolphins. It's the body bag game, bitch. I'm supplying coffins. Cause you dicks butt kiss. A bunch of Brian Baldingers. You gon' diabolic. I've been diabolic with the dialogue since 99 Broncos. You don't respect the legacy I leave behind, so you can suck a dick the day you beat me. Pigs will fly up my ass in a flying saucer full of Italian sausage. The most high exalting, and I am halting till I die of exhaustion and hail my exhaust fumes. The best part about me is I'm not you, and I'm me. And I'm the fire marshal, and this is my legacy. So there's a lot of great wordplay in this verse, and it also ties into one of the other themes that I wanted to talk about, which was Eminem and the NFL. These are all football references, and he's been a huge football fan forever, of the Detroit Lions, who have never won anything. But there are a lot of really cool football references and wordplay in this.